We could see the indications from that particular time that the revolution was having challenges. We decided to take the bull by the horns as the war veterans to make sure that we preserve the legacy of the revolution. We are happy that after a hard and difficult struggle, we managed to succeed in 2017. We were central to the restoration of the legacy of the Zimbabwe Revolution. We were the leading charges in the fight for the preservation of the legacy of the Zimbabwe Revolution. And we're very happy that our candidate, President E.D. Mnangagwa, emerged as the leader of Zimbabwe in 2017. We saw him win the first election. We were very happy with the way he started shepherding national affairs, in particular the revival of the comatose Zimbabwe economy, which was almost dying under the weight of illegal American sanctions. Through his creative leadership, he has restored national confidence through the promotion of pro-business policies, which is seeing capital from both within Zimbabwe and from outside begin to change the fortunes of the Zimbabwe economy on a scale which Africa has never known, has never seen. And the results are all there. And when it came to the last harmonized elections, he won with a resounding endorsement from the Zimbabwe electorate. 70% of the Zimbabweans voted in support of the ruling party, in support of our candidate. We are happy that he could score such a victory, and as the war veterans, we have always stood by him. We feel vindicated that he's doing a good job, which says when the judgment of the war veterans is given, it has got wisdom which comes from experience, which comes from the participation in the struggle. We just don't judge easily, we judge wisely too. So this is the reason why we are here to celebrate the win of our candidate, the win of our party of the Zimbabwe Revolution, ZANU PF. We know that there are efforts to try to tarnish the victory of our president by detractors and those who wanted to cheat in the elections. They wanted to win by cheating. But they forgot that we are war veterans. We fought a war. We are always vigilant. We were aware, and our systems were, the integrity of the systems flushed out those who wanted to cheat. So our victory is fulsome, it has integrity, it can be challenged because it came from the Zimbabwe voter, each in his own right, going into the booth to endorse ZANU PF and President Mnangagwa as a candidate. And nothing is going to change that. We actually are wondering why a certain individual wants to become the president of SADC when the heads of states who make SADC have already made a decision that the elections were free and fair. Individuals in SADC have no power more than the heads of states of SADC who are endorsing this election. All the presidents, including the chairman of the SADC, President Lorenzo, have endorsed the outcome of the Zimbabwe election. So there can be no groups, and there cannot be outside powers, and there cannot be any individuals who try to say the decision of the Zimbabwe people is somehow not right, his decision is the right one. Who are you to challenge the decision of the Zimbabwe people? We also want to say to the president, we have been at the forefront of creating conditions of wealth in Zimbabwe. We brought the army which defends the people of Zimbabwe in their day-to-day activities. The Zimbabwe Defense Forces, it's our product. We are very proud of our defense and security establishment, which came from our sacrifices. We are very happy with the independence which we brought to Zimbabwe. We are also happy with the policies which were central to the defense of the Zimbabwe revolution since 4 decades ago. We are also happy with the achievements which we helped spearhead, like in the educational field, where Zimbabwe is now the leader in Africa. We are the last born, but we are the most educated. It came from our revolutionary experience of organizing the people during the war. We are very happy that we restored the land to the people, and now we have a clever president who is implementing policies like confronts, which is making sure that there is eradication of hunger in rural areas.
Yes.
Every household is going to become prosperous and it will never starve. This is what our president has been doing. Never again shall Zimbabwe import food. We shall farm not only for 40 million Zimbabwe people, but we shall farm for 7 billion other consumers on the global market. This is what our president is doing in agriculture, irrigation everywhere, so that we farm the whole year round. We are also having our president making sure that climate-proof, climate change is made to withstand the ravages, and our agricultural system is made to withstand the ravages of climate change. This is what our president is doing in the agricultural domain. But perhaps his most sterling achievements are in the mining sector, with the already in a very short period of time exceeding $12 billion. We have started exporting lithium in Zimbabwe. Already in the last 4 months, more than 100,000 tons of lithium, processed lithium, is leaving Zimbabwe. We are going to 1.4, 1.5 million tons of lithium, white gold, leaving Zimbabwe. These are the policies of President E.D. Mnangagwa. He is getting the best possible investors in the world to come to Zimbabwe. Mamonya achewa my investors. Do are kudaidza mu Zimbabwe. This is a good man. He knows what is good for the country, and we war veterans, we have always championed him. We feel proud about these achievements in the mining sector. He has also created a small to medium enterprise gold industry. We all know that was the decision of our Congress at Masvingo to allow young people to dig gold, because this is the tradition of Zimbabwe for the past 800 years. They were not allowed before Masvingo Conference of the War Veterans. We went into cabinet, we argued. Now they are contributing 2/3 of 40 tons of gold, young people all over the country. Our currency is strong, it can no longer be buffeted by America because of gold. Gold is better money than the US dollar. And Zimbabwe is digging money. We dig money in Zimbabwe. And that decision came from the war veterans from Masvingo. So we make decisions which have got big scale implications for Zimbabwe. We don't make small decisions. We are always making decisions which have a big picture behind it. We decided in Masvingo that we wanted to revive the Zimbabwe steel sector in a big way. We said we must have carbon. Zisco must come back, but not the little Zisco, but a bigger industry. We are happy that at Manize, starting this December, Zimbabwe will start producing 800,000 tons of steel, carbon steel. Without carbon steel, we cannot make progress as a country. It is the backbone of industrial development of any country. Now we have built the largest steel plant on the African continent, and the inspiration came again from Masvingo War Veterans Congress. So we are always doing things which have a big picture behind them. We are promising the president that we will make sure that that industry gets the support which it needs by lobbying within the country for better investment climate, strengthening the SME sector of gold, but more important, finding good partners and putting a regulatory framework which makes sure that the industry expands the mining sector. But more to it is that we are going to participate as the war veterans. This time, we want to be part of the bonanza of riches which we have helped create. We are very sure that we are good business people, because we could not have liberated this country if we didn't have a vision of what can be done in business. because that's what ultimately we're leading to. So in our last stages, in our 60s now, as we harvest the fruits of our years of sacrifice in politics and in governance, we also want to create companies, big banks, which have the trademark of the War Veterans Association of the War Veterans of Zimbabwe. We are able to do it, and we shall stand by our president in doing that. We will be creating companies, start-up companies, to participate in all the various economic fields we've been talking about, and to set up business enterprises which will help Zimbabwe produce made in Zimbabwe goods and services which are world class, which will be destined for the global market. Hatinoda kuita zvinhu zvechiruzevha, hatinoda kuita zvinhu zvemahumbu. We'll be doing great things to make sure that Zimbabwe takes advantage of the global marketplace. So Zimbabwean products will be finding their way to department stores in other countries, and people will know that these are made in Zimbabwe goods, which are world class, coming from a very competent country. After all, we have educated a population which can quickly convert capital into profits. If you are a businessman, you come to Zimbabwe, our labor force is very competent, it's very organized, it's very disciplined, and it's very hardworking. But more than that, it's very creative. We want the creativity of the Zimbabwe labor force to take full advantage of our resources and to ride on the pro-business policy of President Mnangagwa to make sure that Zimbabwe will grow at between 10 to 20% per annum for the next 2 decades. We want to make sure that when we eventually go to heaven, we will report to the comrades whom we fought with in Mozambique, in Zambia, in the various battlefields of Zimbabwe. We want to report that we finally achieved the prosperity which we were prepared to die for. Because the only reason why people sacrifice their life is for prosperity. I'm glad that after traveling the military road, after traveling the political road, after traveling the governance road, we are now at a stage where we can also travel the prosperity road. And we want our children to be beneficiaries of this spirit of enterprise, of creativity, of vision, which is the war veterans, so that they can stand proud about their parents and what they did to free Zimbabwe by saying Zimbabwe is a prosperous country. That's why we are so happy that with our President Mnangagwa winning in a very big way and showing the global stage that Zimbabwe is a proud and confident nation which can do other things on a scale which Africa has never done before. And that's what President Mnangagwa is doing. So I want to thank the leadership of the association, which is here, the National Executive. I want to salute the provincial chairman who have stood through thick and thin with our president. I know what you have had to go through to defend the candidates of our president against political headwinds. But today, you are vindicated. He has won and is doing a good job for this country. You are a brave son of the soil, in youth, in middle age, even now in late age. You are always standing by the good which Zimbabwe deserves. And our president is one of the good things which Zimbabwe deserves. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman, Honorable Minister. Good morning, comrades. Good morning, members of the press. My name is Sam Arirenyatwa. I'm the provincial chairperson of the Zimbabwe National Liberation War Veteran Association in Mashonaland Central Province. Right now, I am acting national spokesperson. We have got 2 statements or 2 documents which we would want to share with you members of the press. The first statement is the one where we want to congratulate our president, who is also our patron, President Mnangagwa, for the victory which we are all aware during the previous harmonized elections. The second statement is the one in which we want to congratulate our chairman. You know, he is our chairman, who has now been appointed by the president as our minister. We also want to congratulate his deputy, Honorable Monica Mavunga, for making it to the post of deputy minister for the veterans of the liberation struggle. We have got these copies. I'm sure members of the press have been given these, and if you fail to get one, we'll be able to provide a copy of each of the statements. But I'm going to read through the statement. The first one which I'm going to read is the one where the Zimbabwe National Liberation War Veteran Association is congratulating His Excellency the President, who is also our patron. Congratulations message, Zimbabwe 2023 General Elections. The Zimbabwe National Liberation War Veteran Association would like to take this opportunity to express its unequivocal appreciation and congratulations to the nation of Zimbabwe on the exceptional manner in which they held the 2023 general elections. Besides challenges beyond their control, the elections were a resounding success and a pride of the nation of Zimbabwe. Special heartfelt congratulations is accorded to our triumphant patron, the First Secretary and President of ZANU PF, His Excellency President Edi Mnangagwa, on his re-election to the presidency and the Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces. Your re-election to this noble and powerful post for another 5-year term reflects on the testimony of the trust and confidence the state and the Zimbabwean people vest in your competent leadership, as supported by your exceptional performance during the previous 5-year term. You have our best and most sincere support as we continue your developmental trajectory pursuant of Vision 2030. Our appreciation also extends to the main election competitors for the presidency. We also congratulate all councillors, parliamentary and senatorial participants. Your participation makes us proud, since we witnessed the expression of the democracy that many of our compatriots perished for. We are hopeful that all participants appreciate that, by their nature, elections have losers and winners. It is indeed crucial and a reflection of the political maturity that the outcome of the elections is respected and adhered to, especially when they are clearly, especially when they are clearly transparent and fair. We are aware of the challenges which affected the smooth running of the elections. It is then critical that lasting solutions are explored to ensure the same challenges are avoided in future elections. On that note, it is our sincere request that all stake and stockholders come together under the national banner to iron out these challenges. Thus, national unity of purpose and national dialogue are of paramount importance, and all relevant political entities should partake. The Zimbabwe National Liberation War Veteran Association note with concern some of the election observers invited by the authorities. Although generally most observer missions worked within their parameters, some, especially the Western countries observer missions, and those from Western observer mission, and those fronting Western imperial interests have been and continue to behave in ways totally unacceptable. We are aware that authorities invited them now and again whenever we have elections, and since our election system is transparent and have nothing to hide. However, it is abundantly clear that the aim and the objective of the EU election observer mission is to unseat liberation movements, governments, and to foster and perpetuate neocolonialism and advance white supremacy against the ideals of our revolution. There is need to revisit our cost-benefit analysis with regards to our relationship with the Western countries. We have been inviting the EU observer mission ever since, yet at no point have they produced positive statements to assist our electoral processes. Rather, we will give them opportunity to meddle with and demonize our electoral processes as they endeavor to push for their illegal regime change agendas. We give them an opportunity to lecture on democracy, a phenomenon we appreciate and practice far better than them. Besides, when they hold their own elections in their countries, we are never invited, creating or promoting a big brother or world prefect mentality, which is haunting international relations and global order. We give them preference when they have no respect for us. Good relations are reciprocal in nature. Lastly, our congratulatory message goes to the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, ZAC, for a job well done. Despite challenges, some of which were beyond their control, they managed to steer the electoral ship and met their constitutional obligation. Well done. You have made Zimbabwe proud. As articulated earlier on, stakeholders need to meet to improve the Zimbabwe electoral process. The electoral fever is now behind us. Let's now all unite to ezvanavevu and concentrate on building the Zimbabwe we all want. Thank you, Zimbabwe. This is our statement, which we, as the Zimbabwe National Liberation War Veteran Association, produced, congratulating His Excellency and thanking Zimbabweans in general, and also thanking ZAC for a job well done. Now, let me move on to the next statement, which is a statement congratulating our chairman, who has now been appointed the minister by the president, and his deputy, Honorable Mavunga. We are happy that you members of the press are now joining us as we celebrate the appointment of the brave men and the brave woman you see in front of you. Congratulatory message: appointment of Honorable Ambassador Christopher Mchangwa and Honorable Monica Mavunga as Minister and Deputy Minister respectively. The Zimbabwe National Liberation War Veteran Association would like to take this opportunity to express its unequivocal appreciation on the befitting appointments by His Excellency the President E.D. Mnangagwa of Comrade Christopher Mchangwa and Comrade Monica Mavunga to the posts of Minister and Deputy Minister respectively for veterans of the liberation struggle. We wholeheartedly congratulate you, comrades, and hereby express our unequivocal support as you partake your new critical role of ensuring the affairs of veterans of the liberation struggle are taken care of. Both of you are not new to the challenges facing veterans of the liberation struggle. With you, our chairman, Comrade Mchangwa, we have come of age as we endeavor to better the welfare of veterans of the liberation struggle. Over the years, it has been a mammoth task to achieve the desired targets due to challenges beyond our control. Now that you are in the driver's seat, with the solid support from us, we should be able to take the veterans of the liberation struggle to the promised land of milk and honey. As your team for years, we are confident of your capacity and ability to lead us as veterans of the liberation struggle to realize our dreams for a better, befitting lifestyle. You are very much aware that veterans of the liberation struggle have been neglected and continue to lose clout in front of a very positive and supportive legislation. In our well-considered view, the problem has been and continue to be the implementation of programs and processes in support of the desired outcome. There has been a lot of resistance from governance system at the detrimental consequences of any meaningful progress with regards to the welfare of veterans of the liberation struggle. We feel proud and highly esteemed that your exposure to this highly critical appointment should be the turning point with regards to the welfare of veterans of the liberation struggle. May we also take this opportunity to wholeheartedly express our appreciation to our patron, the President, Comrade Idim Nangwayo, for appointing our chairman, here sitting next to us, to this highly prestigious post. It goes to prove the support and administration he has for the role played by the Zimbabwe National Liberation War Veteran Association. We therefore need to prove beyond doubt of our capacity and ability, together as a team, to ensure the President's desire for improvement of the lives of veterans of the liberation struggle is realized. Together, united, focused, and resilient, we can make it. Once more, we say to you, Maporokoto, Amhlope, congratulations for your appointment.
Okay, thank you so much for your messages. I also once again want to hail the support which I'm getting from my deputy, Comrade Monica Mafunga, Department of the Feminina from the Liberation Struggle of Zimbabwe. I want to add that in our deliberations, we want to remind Washington, we want to remind London, we want to remind Brussels that SADC is a creation of the Southern African National Liberation Movement.
Yes.
It is a product of the frontline states who were at the forefront of the struggle of freedom against apartheid, against minority rule, against settler rule, against racist imperial control from the Berlin Conference of 1884 in Europe. These are the people, these are the organizations which created SADC. It does not belong to the EU. It does not belong to America. It does not belong to London. SADC is ours. They must keep their dirty hands away from our SADC. These people. They cannot try to steal our organization and try to turn it against us. It is our organization. They cannot use puppets, individual puppets, to try to become leaders of the sovereign elected presidents of the constitutional republics which are SADC. The leader is Cyril Ramaphosa, it's Hage Geingob, it's Philip Nyusi, it's President Lorenzo, it's President Suluhu from Tanzania, and these are the leaders of SADC, not some individual plugged from Norway in Zambia who wants to tell the heads of states how they should handle issues of SADC. We don't accept that as war veterans of Zimbabwe, and we are reaching out. We are reaching out to our fellow war veterans in the region. We have the network to make sure that this nonsense of individuals trying to usurp SADC is stopped. We want to hail the ANC for sending its own observer mission, led by Comrade Mbalula, to Zimbabwe to come and see for themselves. Who can now say what the ANC says in its own delegation is secondary to what an individual from Zambia is trying to say under the mantle of SADC, which does not belong to them? Mumba, SADC belongs to the National Liberation Movement, not to traitors of the liberation struggle. Keep your dirty heads away from our SADC. We also want to say, in similar vein, we shall be reaching out to our fellow national liberation movements so that the economic bonanza of the prosperity which President Mnangagwa is bringing to Zimbabwe becomes a feeding ground for them too. We want to show them that the land reform in Zimbabwe is rewarding the people of Zimbabwe with their prosperity. It is creating a genuine African middle class rooted in its resources in Zimbabwe. We are not going to become appendages or subsidiaries or subordinates to our national economies when we now control our resources. That prosperity is all there to see. That's why our economy is farming. We are creating a genuine African middle class, which will be the most prosperous on the African continent. It will make our democratic systems very strong because we are building our own economy. We are also supporting our own currency by our own resources, particularly gold, because the history of Zimbabwe is the history of gold. We will encourage the president to plow more resources and to put more policies which encourage young people to produce more gold. If we produce more gold, we jump from 40 tons to 100 tons. Our currency will be strong because gold has been the currency for 5,000 years. The American dollar, which it once has only been the currency for 300 years. We were trading in this country before the American dollar was born. We used gold. So why should people now try to say American dollar is more important than Zimbabwe's gold? Gold is the real currency, and the president has hit the nail on the head by saying gold is going to support our currency. And we are very happy that we are the ones who legitimized the small and medium enterprise sector from the machine war. We were futuristic, and now the central bank is using gold to support our currency. This is a good thing. We want the president to continue to put more attention to gold production so that we use the currency of ages to support the prosperity of Zimbabwe and to maintain the buying power of the Zimbabwe dollar so that our people can enjoy their prosperity without the predatory machinations of the American and their sanctions. We will blunt their sanctions using our gold. So on that note, I want to say, America, London, don't try to steal our SADC. It's ours. We keep your dirty hands away from our SADC. It's an African institution which will defend Pan-African values. It will defend the Zimbabwe revolution. It will never defend the racism which is associated with your countries. It will never defend the slavery which your countries carried out in Africa. It will never defend the colonialism which you did against African countries. When Europe became strong, it became an invader and played havoc on Africa. We will not allow this thing to happen again in Southern Africa. Never again will we allow neo-colonialism to rear its head. And the vote of the Zimbabwe people in the last harmonized elections is a strong affirmation that democracy belongs to the African people. It's our democracy. It's not a gift from the West. It is homegrown. We fought for it as young people. That's why we have the one-man vote we have today. Crisis Coalition in Zimbabwe, keep away from our SADC. And all the other NGOs which want to appeal to SADC, this is a product of the national liberation struggle. It's not yours. It's our own institution. Keep away from our institutions. So we don't want any interference of SADC by people who are beneficiaries of our fight for independence. They would not have been there, these black people who are fronting these organizations, because they were treated in a racist manner until we freed this country. When they speak good English in the CCC, it's because we sent them to school, we brought school to them. When we were young, we could not go to the same schools as they are going today, because school was for white or for a few black people. Now they use the benefit of what we provide them as independent countries. They want to abuse it and attack us and attack our presidents, attack our systems and abuse our SADC. We will not allow it. Crisis Coalition, Human Rights Forum, all these people who wanted to cheat in the elections by parallel tabulation of fictitious results. We say to them, keep away from the integrity of the National Liberation Movement, and we want to revive the cooperation and the coordination of the National Liberation Movement, which gave birth to the frontline states. We want to revive it and strengthen it and use it as a sledgehammer to make sure that those who have pretensions to neo-colonialism will never succeed again. So we are going to be very strong in cooperating with FRELIMO in Mozambique, ANC in South Africa, SWAPO in Namibia, MPL in Angola, and Chama cha Mapinduzi. We are going to be very strong to revive our historical cooperation, because it was our bastion against Western imperialism. It has been our bastion against neo-colonialism, and it has been the bedrock of the new prosperity which we are bringing, especially to Zimbabwe. So I thank you once again.
Ladies and gentlemen, those who have got ears have heard. I wonder if there's any one of you who has got a question.
Thank you very much. My name is Madam from Europe. One question. Maybe before I do so, I just want to confirm.
Can you be a bit slow?
My name is Madam from the Herald. I have one question, but before I do so, I just want to convey my congratulations to Honorable Mr. Mtonga and Deputy Minister. But my question was as follows. In today's meeting, I just want to find out, in today's meeting, did the meeting spell out the roadmap to Congress, given the elevation of the chairperson, and probably because it appears the Congress was due. And it's related to that, there's also today's meeting dealt with some elements of this harmony that we have also witnessed in the past, where some elements unilaterally, in some instances, declare themselves as leaders of the association.
Comrade, hold on a second. Can you take note of that question? It's a bit broad. Let's have another one or two questions, then we'll give you an answer. Can you take note of this question?
My name is Anna Chibamo from newzimbabwe.com. It's online. My name is Anna Chibamo from newzimbabwe.com online. Seth, you have spoken about national dialogue for the country to move on, and you said it's of paramount importance. I would want to know, as the situation is right now with the opposition, a political party, Triple C, saying ZANU PF did not win elections. As war veterans, are you in a position to push for this dialogue so that the country moves forward? Because we also have 1.9 million people who voted for that opposition, and 2-something million voted for ZANU PF according to the statistics from ZEC.
Okay.
I'll answer.
I think our minister will answer you.
I'll answer. The first question, I'll leave it to the association. The other question, I will answer it when first is, of course, the spokesperson for ZANU PF. Look, we have a constitution in Zimbabwe coming from 2013, which was a product of the political parties, including the two major political parties, MDC, now Triple C. It was taken to the Zimbabwe people, and there was a referendum and it passed. The elections were run under the auspices of that constitution, and it says the winner takes all, majority, and that's what we achieved. That's what we achieved. So the will of the people is expressed in the outcome of that election. And the beauty about it is that the Triple C now, where they won, they are very happy that they won. They are in parliament, they are in local authorities, they are celebrating their win. They are only contesting where they did not win. You can't have your bread and eat it at the same time. This is a la carte menu. It's not cafeteria where you pick what you want and what you don't want. So the result stands. President Mnangagwa won, and we set up his cabinet. We are looking through the windshield going forward. We are not looking through the review mirror anymore. Those who are worried about these things, about the national dialogue with Chamisa on a bilateral, he can go and join Poland, because it is the volition of the winner that he wants dialogue. He has no obligation to have a dialogue. The Constitution does not say if you win you must have a dialogue. No, it says if you win you must rule. That's what the Constitution says. So we are very happy that the president is ruling now because he won. Those who are trying to make this country be on mark time continuously for elections, we have no time for that. We are moving forward. We are putting economic policies and business policies to carry the economy forward, because that's what brought ZANU PF's win. We will not be detracted from pursuing policies which made us win the election, because they will bring prosperity to the people, by people who say, until I win, the race is not started, we must start it all over again. So if he loses again, he starts again. And how many times will we be going around and round and round to make sure that eventually the loser wins? We are not in the game to make the loser win in the ZANU PF. We know how to fight for victory. Ask Ian Smith, ask the British. They know. So when we have won our victory, we move forward. We don't look back. So we are not going to have any of these detractions which are going on from these organizations. Those who, on what platform are they talking about? They are not a provision of the Constitution for Igbo Mandaza or for Tendai or for coalition, state crisis coalition in Zimbabwe, or for human rights. They are not. They have no provision in the Constitution. They are not there. They did not even take part in the elections. If they had wanted, they should have fielded their elections as a political party. Then they would have a platform where they can talk about. How do people who just come from nowhere try to dictate the pace from those who are actually mandated by the Constitution to rule? The Constitution is the Bible. You win, you rule. And that's what President Mnangagwa is doing. He won, he's ruling.
I think you have been comprehensively answered. We are lucky because our minister, who happens to be our chairman, is the party spokesperson. So otherwise, if we were on our own, we could have stammered. However, let me assure you that we are for ZANU PF. We are for the government. We are for His Excellency. So that question, the first question, was a bit pregnant of issues that need to be addressed. That's why we are here. I will give Comrade Barrenyatwa an opportunity to answer you, not comprehensively, but briefly, because that is why we are here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Comrade Bila. With your permission, Comrade Chairman, let me answer the question from the Herald. Let us put it on record that the Zimbabwe National Liberation War Veteran Association executive is intact and is being led by none other than Comrade Christopher Mchanga as our chairman. If you, behind you, ladies and gentlemen, you see those faces of the veterans of the liberation struggle, they constitute the executive, the national executive of the Zimbabwe National Liberation War Veteran Association. We have a process, we have a constitution, and we follow the constitution day in, day out. Now, we are aware that at one point you have been called by some people who were masquerading as the Zimbabwe National Liberation War Veteran Association. Let me advise you that that is a group not of fake members of the association. Those are criminals who are going around trying to fill up their pockets using the name of the war veterans. We are discussing, that's one of the topics we are discussing today, and we'll issue a statement at the end of our deliberations. We are also, on our agenda, is the issue of the Congress, which we talked about. So by the end of the day, we should be able to make a statement as to when we are going for the Congress. You are aware that we wanted to do the Congress before the harmonized elections. Our patron, who is the president, requested us to postpone the Congress until after the harmonized elections. Now that the harmonized elections are over, we are now planning, and that is the purpose of this meeting, to organize for the Congress where the leadership will be elected. Please take note, those are criminals who are moving around claiming to be members of the Zimbabwe National Liberation Association. The leadership is here and is being led by Comrade Mchangwa. Thank you.
I don't think anyone would be any clearer. Are you answered?
Yes,
Thank you very much. Because normally, you cannot just wake up one morning and say, I'm a leader of so and so. Correct? And also, ZANU PF, which is the ruling party, is very democratic. And there's freedom of anything. So if someone wakes up one morning hallucinating to be whatever they want to be, no one will stop them. And we are not here to mention names. Let me repeat. Those people who wake up one morning and say we are interim, they are dreaming. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any last question before our minister leaves us? Thank you. I think
Special offer. I'm organizing lunch for everybody, including the press.
Thank you.
So I want to know the number of the people who are here. The press know where we normally get our lunch after the party meetings. I'm going there now and I'm going to arrange the lunch. Per corner, per anyone.
Are we to come there or?
I think it's best is to go and get it from there, then eat it home. By anyone, pana Samora Mashel na chicken in, including members of the press. I'm rushing there now.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for our comrades that sent us charity. Kaura umbopunduka this time, and I mean it for real.
Just 1 minute. Red press, you can do us a favor by clarifying this fact. I'm repeating this to the former president used to say, Shiroto. And those people who would want to be cheated by people who wake up one morning and say we are 1, 2, 3, that is a lie. Thank you very much.